Assalamu alaikum. This is your computer science teacher, Dr. Walid Ansari, and today we are discussing a topic array. So basically, what is an array? Array is a data structure which is used to store the elements of the same data type. So in our syllabus, we have got two types of arrays: one-dimensional array and a two-dimensional array. So let's study one-dimensional array. So in the one-dimensional array, how do we understand the mechanism? So basically the concept is pretty much simple, that we can assume that array can be a list, like for example in your computer science registers or in any your notebooks, you see the first page of the index. So on the index page, you note down all the stuff along with the serial number or the page number. So the same concept here lies, but here we start the index with the position 0 or with the position 1. So the index can be started from the 0 or 1. Next is the elements. Elements could be your text, it could be your integer, it could be your real, it could be of any data type. But in the one dimensional array, we used to store the elements of the same data type. For example, in this example question, we see spring, summer, autumn, and winter. These are the four season names, and all of the names are in the text form, or we can say in the string. So all of these elements are of string data type. So array used to store the elements of the same data type at a time. For example, I want to create another array, or I want to make the elements data type integer. So here in this example, my array can be the integer as well. For example, these elements I am considering that these elements are the marks of the four subjects, and the marks are out of 25. So I store the marks out of 25, for example 22, 23, and so on. So these numbers are integer numbers. So array used to store the elements of the same data type. In the above example of the seasons, you can see that the data is the string, but here the array contains integer. So the array can store a string data type, but all of the elements must be string; integer data type, but all of the elements must be integer; real data type, but all elements must be of the real data type. So all of the elements that you are about to store must have the same data type. It cannot be like a mixture of the string or integer and vice versa, or I can say the mixture of real and the integer data type. No. So array used to store only the same data type elements. I hope you got the concept. Now, how to write the array? So first, let's understand the question. It says write an algorithm. Then read. Read is the keyword. Read means we have to just output the array names. But before giving the output, we must store the values inside the array. So read means that we have to store the values inside the array. Then we will output. So read the name of four fruits in 1D array, and a four fruit data set is also given. This is a data set, and then we have to display the fruit name. So this is pretty simple. Let's make the solution. So how do we declare the array? We write declare keyword, then we write the name of the array, and then we write the keyword of the array, because we have to mention that this is not a variable, this is an array. So we are not going to show that this is a variable, this is an array, and array data set data size is 0 to 3. Your index position, first index and the last position, you can you can start from 1 as well. So it could be 1 to 4 or 0 to 3, because it is given in the question 4. So 4 is the size of the array. So the size of the array can be mentioned by the first and the last index. So you can start your index with the 0, or you can start index with the 1 inside the square brackets, and then you write that your array is of data type string. So you have to display the data type as well. Next, ignore this declaration and the initialization, we will discuss later on. First, let's understand how to assign the value inside the array. So the apple is a string, and I am assigning it to the index position 0 of the array. Then I store banana in the index position 1 of the array. Then then I store orange in the index position 2 of the array, and then I initialize or store. This is called initialization or storing the value or assigning the value. So we are assigning the value strawberry into the index position 3. So along with the array name, we have to clear the index position as well. If we do not clear the index position, we cannot store the value or we cannot assign the value inside the array. Once we are done with the assigning, now next is to output the fruit names. So we need a for loop. Why do we need this loop? Because array always works with the fixed iteration. So the for loop also works with the fixed iteration. So both conditions are matches, so that is why we use the for loop. Now we want to display the fruit names. So inside the for loop we display the prompt. Name of fruits are, this is a prompt, and then we write the array name and the index position with the count. So array with the index position, and index position is stored in the count variable, and this is it. We close the loop and we write the end in the pseudocode. Rest of the declaration and initialization we can do here. I hope you get the concept. Let's solve another question. Another question is write an algorithm using to pseudocode, but here you can see the different keyword: populate or store or write. It means we have to input ourselves and then we will store. In the previous question we do not input, it just said read. Read means that we just store the values but not input. But here in the question we have to input the values and then store in the array. Data set has been given. Also we do not have to do anything with the data set, but it is just for the help, and then output the fruit. Now let's declare the array. This is my fruit array, and the size of the array is 3. You may start from the index position 1, or you may start the index position from 0. It's your choice. Then you can declare the data type of the array. Then leave the declaration and initialization of the other variables. Now we have to input the array and store. Sorry, we have to input the value and store inside the array. So we have to populate, or we have to write, or we have to store the value. Populate, write, or store. So we are going to populate, write, or store with the help of the loop. Right? So with the help of the loop, I just show the prompt and I store my fruit names inside the array. So count means index position. So it will arrange my positions in the array. So this loop is used to assign the values. This loop is used to assign the values to the array, or this loop is used to store the values inside the array. This is it. But this loop is used to display the array. So we use two loops. One loop for assigning the elements inside the array, and the second loop used to output the array. So here we can output the array like this. Fruit names are, and then this. So I hope you got the concept of one-dimensional array. It is pretty much simple. I will upload some questions for the practice on Google Classroom. You can practice from there. But still, if you have any questions or query, please ask me questions. The more you ask, the more you get. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.